A big thank you to everyone. A big thank you wherever you're watching from. A big thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Just before we go straight into it, sorry, trying to sort this out. Just before we go straight into today, this is me saying welcome to you guys wherever you are watching from. Today we're going to talk about our roots, our identity, our roots, our identity. All right. So please, you're welcome to you. As many of you that are on TikTok, a big thank you to all of you. Those of you on Facebook, on YouTube, I think over 1,005 on YouTube, over 14 or 18,000, I remember, on Facebook, over 10,000 or so, can't remember, Instagram, I'm taking notes. Hello, Tom, I'm doing fine. Thank you very much. Hello, elaborately. Hello, John, how you doing? And everyone, how you doing? Hello, elaborately. Nifimi, welcome everyone. Yes, we did it 7 p.m. UK time today. We're way behind schedule. All right. So yes, let's get the ball rolling. A big thank you. Before we dive in, please share this live stream so more people can be a part of it. Okay. And also follow this page if you don't follow us already. Turn on your notification button so more people can be a part. I have a free ebook for anyone that's interested. Send a DM. It's called Roadmap to Financial Freedom. And the ebook, I have another paid ebook. It's called Idea to Short-Lived Business. If you're interested, send us a DM. Book a 10 minutes free consultation call if you want us to have a conversation about anything that is of interest to you, business related, career well-being. Just book a 10 minutes free consultation. Send us a DM and work something out. So if you want to join our community, there's a QR code or send a DM and you can be a part of it. Okay. All right. As anyone that knows, I'm writing a book called The Migration Mirage: Why Nations Lose Tomorrow and Lineages Fade. I'm excited about the book I'm writing, and I hope that it will be helpful to everyone that gets to read it. So if you want to be a part of it, soon have a website with a waiting list that you can be a part of, right? Check out my page. There are different stuff, different resources, things that you can watch and can be very educative and a blessing to each and everyone. This live stream is sponsored by The Things You Love by D610 Homes and by Love Family Podcast. So I'm going to talk more about them towards the end. The whole idea of why we do this every Sunday, 7 p.m. UK time, is to step into satisfaction within your spirit man. It's awakening the possibilities that are within you that are not yet there, to get the best part of you, the best part of version of yourself, That's the whole idea. Largely because in the Bible, in Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 7, it says, I've seen servants on horses, while princes walk on the ground like servants. So the whole idea, the whole inspiration is to challenge you, to challenge me, to challenge everyone, so that we can become better. I'm not a guru. I always say this, and I'll never stop saying it. I'll never get tired of saying it. I only teach the little things that Christ has done in my life. I'm here to provide guidance I desperately needed, but never got. I'm more like I'm talking to my 5-year-old self, sharing to you today things I wish I knew 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and what have you. So as I talk to you guys, I'm also talking to myself. All right? So last week we touched on family legacy. This week we're going to be touching on our roots, our identity. These are a series of conversations that laid in my heart. Some of them linked to my current books. Some of them are part of conversations we're going to be having in the book, hopefully my next book after this one to come, or things that I've discussed already on my channel, on the video, or things that I plan to discuss, or things that I get to see around, or something that inspires us. Thank you very much, Emma. I'll respond to your questions at the end. All right. Okay. So, like I said, our topic for today is our roots, our identity. So, our roots. One of the issues we face today is identity crisis. We are witnessing an unprecedented era of global migration. I'm sure a lot of you might have watched. 1 minute, guys. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Tam. Remember, happy new month too. Thank you, Otto Freddy. Thank you. Talk to you, come on. So I don't know how many of you that saw in the news large group of Moroccans that swam into a region in Spain. So it's just to show you that there will always be migration for different reasons. So we're witnessing an unprecedented era of global migration where millions of people now live outside the country of their birth, creating generations with multiple cultural influences and competing identities. The world is becoming increasingly globalized, encouraging people to see themselves as global citizens. While this creates opportunities, it also raises questions about where local culture, traditions, and ancestral identities can remain strong. Thank you, Arthur. I'll respond to them at the end. Around the world, questions of identity, belonging, citizenship, and ancestry have become central political and social issues, influencing debates on immigration, integration, multiculturalism, and natural identity. Citizenship has become have become 1 minute, guys. Huh? Not so much. New tablet. Huh? Citizenship has become Citizenship has become easier to acquire in many countries. Technically, not easy in some places, or let's just say citizenship has become it can be acquired in many countries through birth, through marriage, or naturalism. However, naturalization. However, citizenship also does not answer deep questions such as who are my people or where do my roots lie. Many people now hold dual or multi-citizenship, making it increasingly important to distinguish between legal nationality and ancestral heritage. Second and third generation immigrants communities are increasingly navigating the challenges of balancing loyalty to country where they live and an understanding of their family history and cultural heritage. Technology has transformed how identities are formed. Young people today are influenced not only by their local community, but also by global entertainment, digital creation, and online communities that transcend national borders. International travel, education, and unemployment means that many people are creating opportunities for cultural exchange, but also new questions about identity and belonging. Around the world, many governments and communities are investing in preserving indigenous languages, traditional knowledge. I think I noticed that during the Beijing Olympics, and also in Wales, something like this happens as well. So governments are doing that. So the whole idea is investing in preserving indigenous languages, traditional knowledge, historical records, and cultural heritage because they recognize that these are important parts of national and community identity. So their diaspora, be it African or anyone, now numbers about tens. For instance, the African diaspora now about 10 million across, there are about 10 million of them across Europe, North America, Caribbean, Middle East, and elsewhere. This creates unprecedented opportunities for education. Amazing. For the economy, where they are, and for where they come from. For education, for cultural exchange in Africa and its global diaspora. Children of immigrants often possess unique advantages. They understand more than one culture, have access to international education and networks, and can become bridges between nations if they intentionally embrace both their heritage and their country of residence. The defining question for this generation is no longer simple. Where do you live? But how do you remain rooted while striving in increasing intercontinental world? So why this is important is that, why this conversation is important to have is that a person who does not understand where they come from may struggle to understand what they should preserve or pass on. Vital important information. Another reason is that families that stop telling their stories often discover that later generations know very little about the sacrifices that created their opportunities. Every generation must decide whether it will preserve its roots or allow them to gradually fade. The choice is yours. The question is no longer whether the world is changing, it is whether our identity will survive the change. So the greatest challenge facing many families today is not the loss of opportunity, it is the gradual loss of roots, identity, and historical memory. So if you have an understanding of transatlantic slavery, it's quite unfortunate that conversations I've been having lately kind of links to it, or even my book kind of touches on this. If you have an understanding of transatlantic slavery that happened for over 200 years, you understand that it's possible for one to lose their roots, identity, and historical memory. Very, very possible. So I hope that those of us that still have an understanding of our roots will understand that it shapes our identity. And in the course of this month, we'll be talking about our roots and what it links to, our roots and what it links to, and hopefully we can be inspired by it. Because if you don't have an understanding of where your roots is, like I'm pointed out, and I want to take that point again, a person who does not understand where they come from may struggle to understand what they should preserve or pass on. It's a very vital point. And I hope that as we're having this conversation is important. And this doesn't have to be people that are abroad or in a foreign country. No, even when I grew up in Nigeria, there are some people that live in different cities but don't have link or roots to where they come from. These are vital conversations to have, and it makes a whole lot of difference. So by definition, the word roots means, according to a dictionary, the root, it says the origin or source of something. The word root, is a person's family, a person's ethnic, cultural, or historical origin, the part of a plant that anchors it and produces nourishment. I like that word. Root, the part of a plant that anchors it. That means it keeps it to where it is, and it provides nourishment. So think about it as regards to what it can do to your destiny. Thank you very much, Misty. So the next point is that definition that roots refer to a person's ancestry, family, lineage, homeland, language, culture, traditions, history, inherited values that connect them to their previous generations. These are very, very important things. Our roots explain where we come from. He explains where we come from. Another topic I want to define, because I don't like to assume that we all understand. I just like to define it so you can give us better context and understanding what we're talking about today. Thank you very much. Is identity. Identity is who, according to the dictionary, is who a person is. That's what it is. Or the qualities, beliefs, and characteristics that distinguish them from others. Identity. A person's sense of self. That's another definition. Another definition is the characteristics that make a person or group unique. So in other words, identity is a person's understanding of who they are, where they belong, what they value, how they relate to their family, community, nation, and the wider world. A simple definition is our identity explains who we are. So when we put together two of them, our roots or identity, it can be defined as, it means recognizing our ancestry, our history, our culture, our language, our values, our heritage, provides the foundation upon which our identity is formed, giving us a sense of belonging, continuity, purpose, and responsibility. So illustrations could be your family origin, your origin, your family, your ancestors, your homeland, your language, your culture, your history, your values. It shapes your identity, which is your character, your beliefs, your behavior, your confidence, your purpose, sense of belonging, responsibility. Our roots tell us where we come from. Our identity shapes who we become. It's very, very, very important. A passport may identify your citizenship, but your roots help explain your heritage and where your family story begins. It's very, very important. There's so many people in America, thank you very much, Alia. There's so many people in America or in the Caribbean and what have you. They have a passport of a country where they come from, but they don't have an understanding of their roots. So my thoughts are that a person's passport may identify your citizenship, but your roots help explain your heritage and where your family story begins. I don't know how many people that don't want to know where their family story begins. It's important that we value these things. Maya Angelou was quoted to have said You can't really know where you are going until you know where you have been. In other words, it's about understanding your history gives direction to your future. Alex Haley was quoted to have said, in every convincible manner, the family is a link to our past, bridge to our future, which implies that our families preserve the roots that connect one generation to the next generation. Marcus Garvey, I don't know how many of you that know him, he said that a people without the knowledge of their past, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. Knowing your history, origin, and culture gives us stability, confidence, and identity. So to wrap this section up, our roots are not chains that hold us back. No, they are the foundation that help us stand firm while reaching higher. So a lot of people some people don't want to identify with where they come from. Some people don't want to pass on to their children the ideology of where they come from. So our root is not a chain that pulls you back. No, they are the foundation that help you stand firm while reaching higher. So it's important that you celebrate where you come from. So I have this story for you, and I hope that inspires you or can learn something from it. All right. I titled this story, The Branches and the Roots. There are stories that begin with a passport, and there are stories that begin with a grandmother. This is one of both. I'm here to tell you about two brothers. When David and Daniel were born in London, their father smiled and held up their birth certificates. They are British, the nurse said. Their father nodded politely, and he whispered something different in each baby's ear. You are sons of my father, and his father before him. The nurse heard only the first sentence. History heard the second. The boys grew together. Same house, same school, same church, same friends, same opportunities. But over time, something invincible began separating them. Not wealth, no, not education, but identity. Whenever people asked David where he was from, he answered immediately, I'm British. If they asked where his parents came from, he shrugged. My parents are Africans or Ghanaians or Kenyans or Americans, Nigerians or Zimbabwe, whatever. But I'm not really into all that. I get this a lot because I work with young people. Next year or so we'll make it about 12 years I've worked with young people in the United Kingdom, and in total 20 years I've worked with teenagers in general. So I can relate with this question, where are you from? And I always get to say, oh, my dad is from this place, but I'm British, because we were born here. Good and fine, arguably. So let's continue on the story. My parents are Africans, but I'm not really into all that. He laughed at his mother's accent, refused to learn his father's language, complained, thank you very much, Julia, complained whenever his parents wanted to visit Nigeria or Ghana or wherever. I don't belong here, he would say. My life is here. That's to say in England or something, or Britain or wherever. Daniel answered the same question differently. I'm British. That's if to say people had to ask Daniel, where do you come from? He would say, I'm British, my family is Nigerian, or Ghana, or whatever. It's just let's use Nigeria for illustration. Thank you very much, Bobby. Bobby, DY, Kevin, and Michael, and Kristen. Oh, thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Okay, sorry, guys. All right. All right. When you asked him, he would say to you, but my family is Nigerian. He never saw those statements as competitors, only companions. He loved fish and chips. He also loved jollof rice and his egusi soup and pounded yam and whatever. He celebrated Christmas in London, but he even smiled. He smiled even wider with Christmas in Enugu. He understood that a passport could describe his citizenship, but it could never erase his ancestry. Years passed, university, careers, marriage, children, life moved quickly. Then something happened. David applied for a senior executive position, excellent grades, outstanding experience, perfect interview. Yet after one meeting, a colleague casually asked, so where are you originally from? David smiled, London. And the response to that person said, no, where are you really from? And the room became quiet. It was the first time he realized something. The passport answered one question, his appearance asked another. That evening, he looked into the mirror longer than usual. For the first time in his life, he wondered, if I'm only British, why do people keep asking where I come from? Months later, he traveled to Nigeria for a family funeral. He expected to feel at home. Instead, relatives called him the English boy. His Igbo was broken, his custom unfamiliar. Children laughed when he mispronounced simple greetings. Back in Britain, he was asked where he was really from. In Nigeria, he was told he wasn't really Nigerian. For the first time, David belonged nowhere. He carried the passport of one country and the face of another, and the confidence of neither. Daniel's experience was different. When people asked, where are you from? He smiled. I was born in Britain. My family is from Nigeria. No confusion, no embarrassment, no apology. He understood that citizenship and heritage answered different questions. He understood that. One spoke of legal membership, and the other spoke of family history. Years later, Daniel founded a technology company, not because he wanted to save Africa or Nigeria, not because anyone forced him, but because during childhood visits, he had seen farmers lose income because they lacked access to reliable markets. His company built software connecting small farmers to buyers. The headquarters remained in London. The innovation reached Nigeria. Jobs were created, families earned money, communities benefited. He often told investors, my passport opened doors. The roots showed me which doors were worth opening. One evening, the brothers sat beside their father's grave because he passed away because of all this. Neither spoke for several minutes. Finally, David asked, do you think Dad would be disappointed in me? Daniel looked at the old mango tree beside the cemetery. Thank you, Julia. And said no. He would simply remind you of something. What was David's response? Daniel pointed towards a tree. Look at it. David frowned. It's just a tree. No, Daniel said, it's a lesson. The branches reach towards the sky because the roots never forget the ground. I take that again. The branches reach towards the sky because the roots never forget the ground. Silence returned. Then Daniel added softly, you spent your life trying to prove where you belong. I spent mine trying to remember where I began. Before they left, David knelt beside the grave. For years, he had believed identity was something you choose. Now he understood some parts of identity are chosen, others are inherited. The wisest people learn to honor both. So thoughts for anyone, both Africans in diaspora, people that have a different opinion to the things I'm saying today, or to the offsprings of immigrants. The thoughts today is that the opportunities of the countries, or thoughts, something you can learn from what I just shared. The opportunities of the country in which you are born, the heritage of the family from which they came from. These are things too, the two gifts that you can inherit. These gifts need not compete. No, they can complement one another. A person can provide, so a passport can provide legal citizenship. A family's history can provide continuity, belonging, and perspective. When these two are held together thoughtfully, they can become a source of confidence rather than confusion. A passport may tell the world where you belong legally. Your roots remind you. 1 minute, guys. I just want to sort out my laptop. Okay. Sorry. Just want to sort this out. All right. Go back on. Okay. I'll take that again. A passport may tell the world where you belong legally. Your roots remind you where your stories began. The strongest branches are not those that deny their roots, but those that grow because of them. So there's a dilemma. This is a dilemma amongst the hearts of many young people especially the offsprings of immigrants, especially African immigrants, All right, this is a dilemma for them. So I'm going to touch a little bit on it, and I hope that helps. All right. There's civic identity, which is citizenship, versus ethnic and ancestry identity, which is the heritage. So we're going to touch a little bit about it because you get people tell you things. So my dad is Kenyan, my dad is Kenyan, my dad is Gambia, my parents are from Zimbabwe or from Eritrea, but I'm British. I think my first shock about this came when I was in Cardiff, and I was having a conversation with a young African man, a young African, what I call him boy, a young youth, and he had a brown skin just like me. And I said to him, these are many, 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 many years ago, like talking about like 2009, 10, or 11. I can't remember which of the years. I said to him, where are you from? And he said to me, I'm British. It was like a shock because I could see all over him that he had this Sudanese look. And he said, I'm British. So I said, no. I mean, where are you from? Two different things you need to have an understanding for. So there's a civic identity, which is citizenship, and there's the ethnic and ancestry identity, which is your heritage. None of them should compete each other. They should complement each other. So it's important, right? Okay. So civic identity or citizenship is just based on legal status. It's established through birth, registration, or naturalization, and recognized by law of a state. But that of heritage is based on ancestry, derived from one's parents, ancestors, lineage, ethnic origin, regardless of your current citizenship. It's important that we know this difference so that we're not just confusing ourselves or confusing our children. Citizenship can change. A person may acquire, renounce, or hold multiple citizenship during their lifetime through legal processes. There are some countries that give somebody citizenship, but you cannot change your ancestry or your heritage. A person's ancestry and family lineage remains constant, even if they migrate or change nationality. It's important that we bear this in mind. So citizenship defines rights and responsibilities. It determines the legal rights, such as voting, holding a passport, paying taxes, military obligations where applicable, and the protection by the state. That's what you benefit. For instance, if there's any calamity, see people like France is evacuated as citizens, America is evacuated as citizens, Nigeria is evacuated as citizens, Ghana, something like that. That's your advantage. That's your right. That's your responsibility. But when it comes to heritage or where you come from, it shapes your culture and identity, influences your language, traditions, customs, families, history, values, sense of belonging are passed from generation to generation. These are two separate things. So let us not allow them clash. Next thing is that citizenship is created by states. Governments determine who is recognized as a citizen under the nationality laws. When it comes to your heritage or where you come from, it's passed through family. Identity is transmitted through family, kinship, and communities rather than by government legislation. So there are two different things. So make this thing better so that for people that are confused or people that are having this issue, citizenship answers which country legally recognizes you. Heritage answers from which people and lineage do you come. They are two different things. So that you need to teach your children so that they are not confused, or even you yourself are not confused when people ask you, where do you come from? Get it? One is that you're a citizen of a country, which is a recognition of a legal recognition. But your heritage, so most times when people ask you, they're asking about your heritage. So that heritage says which people and lineage do you come from? That's what maybe people ask you, where do you come from? Most times that's what they're trying to find out. You get it? So it's better to bear that. A person may become a citizen of another country through law, but his ancestry heritage remains part of his family history and identity. This distinction is prevailing views across sociology, anthropology, political science, and nationality law. So it's important that we know. So we're going to explore, why do many children of African immigrants behave differently from their parents? Or even some, I'm going to touch on that later. So one is that African parents were raised in African culture and traditions, whereas the ones that were born outside or second generation immigrants, were raised mainly in either British culture, American culture, German culture, Chinese culture, whatever, and in the society. So African parents were rooted in their homeland and ancestry, but their children identify often, identity is often shaped by both British society and their family heritage. The African parents are influenced by their parents and extended family and their community, whereas the children that they give birth to are influenced heavily by school, friends, social media, and popular culture. The parents learn survival through hardship, sacrifice, and responsibility, but their children often grow with greater stability, security, and different opportunities. So the point here is that different environments, different behavior. People are largely shaped by the environment in which they grow up. Also, culture is learned and not inherited. Identity is influenced by daily exposure. Comfort changes perspective. So pressure often influences more than parents. So as children become teenagers, friends and social circle can become stronger influences than parents if parents are not intentional. This is a very profound point to bear in mind. Next thing is that language strengthens identity. Losing the family language, native language, can weaken connections with grandparents, extended families, histories, and cultural views. The next point is that migration changes more than location. It changes identity over time unless families intentionally preserve their heritage. The next thing is that parents must be intentional in passing down this thing. So the key thing there, or the key takeaway you can say, is that the first generation changes countries. The second generation often changes culture. The third generation may lose its roots unless the family intentionally preserves it. So one takeaway you can have today is that children don't simply become like their parents. They become like the environment that raised them. I'll take that again. Children don't simply become like their parents. They become like the family, the environment that raised them. So you need to be mindful of the outcomes that you want from your children while you're raising them up. Or even you yourself. Some people are influenced by these things themselves when they move to another part of the world. So this is an aspect for individuals that it affects them. Immigrants, it affects themselves. So why do some African immigrants gradually drift away from their roots? Some people don't want to do anything. Remember, I talked about your roots not being a chain that holds you back, but it's also what helps you to go to another level. Why do some Africans immigrants gradually drift from their roots? It's a pressure to belong. There's this pressure to belong. Many Africans adapt to fit into the new society, socially, professionally, culturally. So over time, adoption can become assimilation, where people begin to distance themselves from their language, their traditions, or their heritage. So the key thing here is that integration should never require the abandonment of your identity. You should need to be proud of who you are. When people ask me, what is your name? I can give them the shortest version of my name, which is Igwe, but I tell them my name is Onyekwelu. And they want to shrink back. I said to them, my name is easier than some American towns, which you know. And they say, like what? I say Connecticut, Mississippi. I can go on and on. There's so many towns. My name is easier than a lot of Welsh words. I can go on and on. My name is easier than some celebrities, like say Martina Labratilova. But you know them. And when I say that, they calm down. I say, okay, how do you say your name again? I say, my name is Onyekwelu. So it's Onyekwelu. Easy, 3 syllables. And they just write it down. Oh, so easy. And that's what they call me. Same thing with my daughter. When you say, oh, my daughter's name, they say, it's too long. Too long. I said to them, where we come from, names have value. Where we come from, you don't just name your child anything, Kiki or Mimi or something like that. We don't respect people that have those names. You don't name them anything. No. We name the names you give to your children, speak into their destiny. I got this inspiration from a Reverend Anglican priest when he was preaching in church a long time ago, before I even got married. And he talks about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. When they came into the kingdom, the king, the palace or the king or whatever of the king that had them, the person that was given to take care of them insisted that he changed their names. Their names had reminded that they are caretaker of a God that they serve. So go and check the names. Their names was Azariah and what have you. That's Azariah. I remember that one because one of my daughter's names is God. I forgot what it means, but it's something related to God. So he changed those names. So I learned from that priest that it's important to stop shortening your names. Stop shortening the names. So I keep my children's names long. I keep them how it is. So my name is Onyekwelu. My wife's name is Adachinyere. My first daughter's name is Onyechikiwapu. My son's name is Chimelimiche. My last daughter's name is Chimcholo. And that is what my children are called in school anywhere they are. And they are proud. No one else has the same name with them. And I love it, because it's their identity. It's who they are. Get it? So I'm not trying to fit in. I am myself. And my family is ourselves. So we have something to offer to the world where we are, than just trying to fit in. So the reason why some people want to distance themselves away from their roots is that they want to fit in. I don't want to fit in. I come with something. This also informs the way I dress, informs the way I speak. I was saying to someone a few days ago, I said, how is it that I've been in the UK since 2009 and my accent has not changed? I don't know why. Why has it not changed? I'm trying my best, but I don't know it because I've embraced my culture and I'm proud of the way I speak. If you don't understand me, I said to a lady when she was working in a civic clinic, she was working on my CV. I said to her, we spoke for almost about 20 minutes. I said, what part of the things I've said don't you understand? She said to me, she understands me so well, more than even some Welsh people or Scottish people or Irish. So I was like, really? Say yes. So it's all about here. When you come to a different part of the world, you feel that until you put up an accent, or you try to be like them, or you shorten your name, or you put forward your English name, or whatever it is, that you be accepted. You are who you say you are. That's basically it. Another reason why people abandon their roots is survival often takes priority over heritage. A better life should not come at the cost of a forgotten identity. Next thing is that environment becomes a teacher. The environment you live in shapes your habits, the values you practice, and shapes your identity. So you need to be intentional so that you don't get your values or your way of life doesn't get eroded by your environment. Next thing to bear in mind is success without roots creates identity drift. The true success is not choosing between two worlds. It is using the opportunities of one to strengthen the heritage of the other. So the greatest danger facing many immigrant families or many immigrants is not losing their homeland. No, it is that gradually they are losing the identity that made their homeland part of who they are. That's what it is. So I hope that we're learning a thing or two as we go on to the next one and bring this to a close. Thank you very much, November. So dangers of not embracing your roots identity. One is identity confusion. I work with young people in United Kingdom, so I can largely tell you about this. I can speak firsthand about this. Identity confusion. If you don't know where you come from, you may struggle to know where you truly belong. And I don't want to paint anybody black, but if you look at it on social media, you can see some of the scandals that are going on about identity belonging. I don't want to, if I touch on it now, it might look like you can relate to what I'm saying. If you don't know where you come from, you may struggle to know where you truly belong. It's very, very important. Knowing who you are makes a whole lot of difference. A strong identity provides confidence, stability and a sense of belonging. So this is a danger of not understanding your roots and your identity. The next thing is that you lose your family heritage. What one generation fails to preserve, the next generation may never recover it. Heritage survives only when it is intentionally preserved. Last week, I talked to you guys about a Japanese family that has sustained their family business for 1,300 years. That hotel is the oldest hotel in the world, according to Guinness Book of Records. This is a family tradition, a family way, family legacy, what they plan to do. They put for one generation to another generation, another generation to another generation. But your own is just your family culture, just your family language, just your family way of life. You can't even pass it from one generation to another. It's questionable. So your identity or the location where you find yourself is that more important than the values that your parents passed on to you? It's important that we look into this. Missed opportunities, that's another danger. Missed opportunities to make a difference. Disconnection can reduce contribution. Your roots can inspire purpose beyond personal success. I always say this, I don't know how many of you that know that Lemfi the app that is used to transfer money, is a child of an immigrant. So I'm sure he must have seen the challenges his mom or his dad were going through, and that's how he got the idea. Now whatever he's doing is contributing not just to Nigeria or African countries. That also they do that same thing to different countries, to India and what have you. So making your offspring or you yourself understand your identity or your roots or where you come from can give them a better meaning or sense of purpose for life. I don't know what kind of company that child would have worked in that would have given him the kind of money he's earning now and the kind of fulfillment that he's having just because of where he came from, right? The choice is yours, what you want to do to your own family or yourself. Another danger is a broken generational chain. I always talk about this. If you listen to me long enough, you know that I touch on this a lot. Every generation is a bridge between the past and the future. So bear that in mind. The greatest inheritance is not only wealth, but a clear understanding of who we are and where we come from. Very, very important. When you lose your roots, we lose risking our sense of belonging, our heritage, our opportunity to contribute, and the legacy we leave for future generations. A tree without roots may remain standing for a while, but it cannot continue to grow or bear lasting value. I'll take that again. A tree without roots may remain standing for a while, but it cannot continue to grow or bear lasting fruits. So it's important that every tree has a root to succeed, to thrive. So how do you celebrate your roots? I should bring this to a close. Our time is fast spent. We should always. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Thank you. Yeah. Send me a DM, please. Know and preserve your story. Very, very important. You cannot celebrate what you don't know. Know and preserve your story. My dad has told me a lot of things. I've always started sharing with my children. I've started recording some. This is very, very important. Every family should become the history of its own story. And I remember the efforts, I touched a bit about it last week, the efforts my grandfather put in. Thank you. The effort my grandfather put in, even though he was blind, to see that I am who I am today. It's amazing. So you need to know your story and share it. The next way to celebrate yourself is that live your values, not just your culture. Not just your culture. Live your values. Culture is seen, values are lived. The greatest celebration of your heritage is living the values that built it. Very important. Stay connected to your homeland. I say this to people. When people come here, they forget themselves. My people say, Igbo people say, that he that doesn't know when the rain start beating him, he that doesn't know when the rain start beating him will not know when the rain stop beating him. So a lot of people come to this part of the world or travel abroad and they automatically disconnect themselves from their homeland. That's not good. You are born Kenyan, Zimbabwean, Eritrea, or wherever it is for a reason. Congo. You're born Mauritania, Sierra Leone, Togo. All these African countries, you're born in this place for a reason. I took out time to explain this in my book, and I hope that you can learn a thing or two from it. Celebrate your root by strengthening the place from which they came. Now, it's very fashionable to be Nigerian. Once upon a time, if you say where you come from, people don't want to associate with you. Be proud of who you are. The world is looking for spice. Pass it on. Next thing is to pass it on to the next generation. Identity survives only when it is transferred. Teach your children, teach us, be proud of what you're saying. People can be contagious about your culture. The heritage that is not passed on is eventually lost. So I hope that we look into this thing as we bring this to a close. If your ancestors came back today, would they recognize you? That's a question. Not by your face, not by your DNA, not by your values, convictions, characters, or way of life. At what point does a descendant become a stranger to his own ancestors? The choice is yours to ponder on. The next thing I want us to ponder on is that, is progress making us better or simply more distant? Some people feel that because they have arrived, they're the better world, things are going okay for them. Thank you very much, Benson. People feel that because they've arrived and everything, and they have money, they have car, to whatever Onyekwelu is saying is rubbish, put it in the bin. The choice is yours. The choice is yours. Posterity will judge. History will call us all to reckon it. It's very important. And for those that are Christians, we have a God that is going to judge us and going to ask us to give an account, because all true scriptures were generational minded people, right? It's in the scriptures. So next point I want us to bear in mind: who benefits when you forget who you are? Who? Throughout history, powerful societies have often encouraged people to adopt new identities. Ask yourself, who gains and who loses? When a people forget their language, their history, their culture, their confidence, their sense of identity, who benefits? People who forget who they are often allow others to define them. Be proud of yourself. So proud of where you come from. It's very, very important. I can never stop saying this because I encounter a lot of people, teenagers, young people with identity crisis, not knowing who they really are, but they have a heritage. Their parents didn't pass it on to them. So will artificial intelligence know more about your family than your grandchildren? The choice is yours. Today, we store photos in the cloud, videos in our phones, documents online. But have we preserved the stories, the wisdom, the sacrifice, the values? Imagine a future where technology knows your family history, but your own grandchildren do not. I leave it up to you. Maybe what I'm saying is rubbish. Maybe all my efforts in the last how many minutes is just a waste of time. It's up to anyone that decides. I'll just put it out there. These are things I wish. I've always known them, and I embrace them. I'm only sharing them because when I see some people, I'm not. I wish they know better. You get it? So the greatest identity crisis is not forgetting your name. It is forgetting the story behind your name. So I'll leave it up to you. And this is me saying a big thank you to everyone that always take out time to listen to this live stream, tune in, ask questions, make contributions. This is me saying a big thank you. I'll just try to take one or two questions as I bring it to a close. Hopefully we've learned a thing or two. Feel free to share to somebody else if you have learned a thing or two. So take it back on and say a big thank you to all of you. If there's anyone that wants to join or speak, let me see if there's anyone. Just send me a DM and we can take this on. All right. Thank you very much, Benson. Anybody wants to say anything, let us know. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, let me try and see if I can take some questions. All right. Take some questions as we bring this to a close. Woo. This is one I like. This is one I like about you. You live what you teach. You love and nurture your roots. Oh, thank you very much, Francisca. God bless you. All right. Thank you very much, Zain Zunli. Thank you very much for your thoughts. Thank you very much, Tommy Zima, for your emoji. Chuki, thank you. Telma, thank you. Andre Bailey, thank you. Telma Ho says, in this era of globalization, the new generation often grapples with crisis of identity. What is your advice or message for them? My advice or message for them is that, especially, let's use it to make it easy to understand the context of African immigrants, the children of African immigrants. Even if your parents don't tell you anything about where you come from, some things are clear and obvious. When you hear things like Black Lives Matters, it's unfortunate that those people were forced from their homelands, from different parts of Africa, taken to the Caribbeans to work. I'm talking about their forefathers, their ancestors in the 18th century, 19th centuries, I believe. They are forced. A lot of them have gone to America, different parts of it, not knowing where they truly come from. They can only guess. There's a reason why you have ancestry websites, ancestry.com, people checking their DNA to try to know, where do I really come from? These are questions. There's a movie called Who Am I? These things exist for a reason. One of the worst things that can happen to a man is not understanding who he is. Some people exist, they walk around, but inside them, they're living another person's identity. So someone's roots can give that person a sense of purpose, sense of sense of belonging, give person confidence to flourish. That's why you see that some Africans in diaspora or some African Americans or Caribbean Americans, when they go back to a particular African country that they claim to, that they have checked the ancestry.com website as their own, it makes a whole lot of difference for them. Some people think that it's a closure to them, but you know where you come from, you understand where you come from, you don't want to raise your children in that way. Then also some people too decide to distance themselves and to take another person's culture. Good and fine, the choice is yours. I don't want to tell anybody how to live their life. But the thing is that you need to be proud of who you are. As in, carry yourself with dignity and pride in the way, your choice of your dressing, in the way you speak, your choice of music, your choice of things to do. Be proud of yourself. It's okay to learn from people, but carry yourself well. So the way you carry yourself is the way your children or those around you will also carry themselves. Thank you very much, Francesca. Can you throw more light on how loss of identity and roots affects our children? Yeah, I touched on that, but I hope I can touch on it again based on our time. So your question, Thelma, was the new generation of what is your advice to them? My advice to them is that even if your parents don't talk about where you come from, you yourself do a research on where you come from and begin to celebrate where you come from. That's all I can say to you. I know a lady, I left America, came to Nigeria, not just Nigeria. She didn't go to Abuja or Enugu or Lagos or the nicer, posher place. She went to Enugu, not just Enugu, she went into the community, she went into the market. She learned, I don't forget talking about her. I'm amazed by her. This is her own choice. She went into the market, she decided to learn how to braid. And she knew that, she said by learning how to braid, she'll be communicating with the market, with local people. And that's how she learned how to speak Igbo language. It was a choice, deliberate choice. So if your parents don't want to give it to you, give it to yourself. I'm sure if you tell them, I want to go to Spain, they will let you go for holiday with your friends. You want to tell them, I want to go to this. Yes, they might be scared for you to go to Nigeria, what have you. Yes, I know a family that went to Spain for holiday or somewhere, and out of family of 4, 3 died in the swimming pool. You know, people die on plane crash, different things. It can happen anywhere. I'm not praying for anybody to die, whatever it is. But the point is that if you really want to make it happen, if you want to embrace your roots, your identity, if you want to be proud of, if you want to identify where you come from, your parents they don't want to let you do yourself. It starts from, I remember the last time I had a conversation with a particular lady about it. I said to her, start YouTube channels, watch videos, start watching movies, watch Nollywood programs. If you go on Netflix, your Netflix algorithm will be suggesting to you Nollywood channels. On Prime, there's so many Nollywood movies. Start watching them. I don't know, maybe the ones these days are a bit, getting a bit Western or whatever. Try to see if you can see old ones. The ones that have Sophia, the one that have Peter Doche and all the other people. Or the Yoruba ones. There's Yoruba movies. There's even Hausa movies. Or it could be Ghanaian ones, I don't know, of other countries. Start from there. It will help you to be able to embrace your roots and your identity that can give you a sense of purpose and help you in whatever you're doing. All right? Thank you very much for your thoughts. Very much appreciated. Happy New Month, sir, and happy Sunday. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Otto Freddy says, I'm going to come back to you. Sorry, Big Dams, do you want to say anything, please, before I move on?
Yeah, good.
How are you doing today?
Just your dedication and I'm fine, sir.
Well done.
So your dedication and your consistency is very, 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 very commendable, sir. I wanted to touch on something, but I think most of the questions have kind of branched into it, but I'll still go ahead regardless. Currently, we see parents, actually, should I say rich folks or rich people, very intentional about not wanting their children to know where they come from or to know their struggles as young boys or young girls. Because I can remember when I was small, not that small, but now I was still small then, when I used to go with my dad to our state then, because my dad worked in the university. So I could remember whenever we go to his village then, would always ring it in his ear that he should not take me along. You should not take me along whenever he's going to his village or from. Me, on the other hand, I actually look forward to going to his village with him because when he go there, he shows me this is where I grew up. This is where my father's brothers. This is where we used to come after we finish for farm. There was even one time recently. Okay, whenever we enter this village, there is this should I say river stream. So I was because he used to tell me of when they used to go and swim after their farm work. So I was even of the opinion that this was the stream or the river that this used to swim. But on asking him, he told me that the one they used to frequent then that I used to tell me about is not even the one I used to see. Now I don't have known this Scottish if he does not talk about his childhood or how he grew up and if I don't pray to his village. So some parents are just very, very should I say, they want to block out that aspect of their life. They don't want their kids to know about that aspect of their life because they don't want their kids to know what things or I don't know. That's my observation slash question. I don't know why they do that and what advice we offer it like that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Big Dams. Your thoughts are well appreciated, and I understand your concerns. Yes, like I pointed out earlier, parents do that for different reasons, wanting to belong. They think that is archaic and old. Sorry to say, sorry. They think it's archaic and old to teach your children English. I think I've ever seen a British man teach their child another man's language over their own. I've never seen it. I've never seen it. Neither have I seen a British man give their child a Nigerian name over a British name. I've never seen it. Yes, nowadays one or two people might give a name or something like that, but it's not the norm. But why do we feel the need not to pass on our language, not to pass on the names? You understand? Not to pass. People sometimes when they give names, they give it with an intention to shorten it so that it sounds a bit Western. You know, Kiki or Fifi or Zizi or something like that. Why? Why they feel that need? Because it's not you're not being proud of who you are. Whereas God made us uniquely. I always make reference to the movie called Madagascar, especially the part 2. And it talks about, you can see the richness of diversity of where we come, of different places. If you've not watched it, check it out. It's really nice. It's lovely. It brings a lot of humor and a lot of things to the whole stuff. Now imagine everybody there sounded American. It's okay. Everyone sounded French, but when the French guy will speak, it was nice. When the Mexican guy came up with the accent, it's amazing. When the guys with the African accent, it's lovely. When the guy King Julian comes up with his own, it's also another level. I don't know. The world needs spice. That's what I always say. The world needs spice. The world needs spice. So bring your spice, bring your flavor. It makes a whole lot of difference. Thank you very much, Tammy, for that thoughts. Let me Francisca, I don't know if I pronounce your word, Ejituru 8, and Otto Freddy, you asked similar question. Francisca said, can you throw light on how loss of identity and roots affect our children? And Otto Freddy says, why is it important to preserve one's true identity in the era of modern globalization? I think these both questions are a bit similar. Thank you very much. Our time is fast spent. I'm just going to bring this to a close, but I want to touch on this quickly, guys. Those that want to stay can stay. Those that want to go can go. I'm really sorry. I'm going to touch on this, please. So, to the questions that Francesca and Otto Freddy asked, all right? If you don't know, one of the dangers is that identity crisis. I touched on it. Identity confusion, identity crisis. You know, a strong identity provides confidence, stability, and a sense of belonging. In addition to that, another danger is the loss of family heritage. Loss of family heritage survives only when it is intentionally passed. These are the dangers for not knowing, for the loss of identity, and also for importance of preserving identity. These are dangers. All right. Another thing is that it's a missed opportunity to make a difference. I touched on the app called Lemfi. If that young man or so, maybe he must have encountered his parents or his uncle or his aunties struggle with how to send money back home, and today he has a software or an app that is not just bringing an income for him, but it's also changing lives both back home and here, providing jobs. Now he has that opportunity. This connection can reduce contribution. When people lose touch with their ancestry home, they may also overlook the opportunity to contribute through investment, mentorship, and innovation, philanthropy, or knowledge sharing. Those who remain connected often see the need and opportunities that others miss. Your roots can inspire purpose beyond personal success. I can never stop saying this. You understand it? My daughter, by the special grace of God, she had her 10th year birthday. She had the option to, gave her the option to have a birthday celebration, or the option to be able to do a legacy project back in our community where she came from, in Sawa to a process in Enugu State. And she chose to do the legacy project. And what did she do? She renovated two nursery classrooms, painted a whole school block, about 4 or 5 classrooms, furnished the classrooms, the nursery classrooms, put in toys, painted it lovely color, just like you get anywhere in the world, made it nice and awesome. You know, she didn't just do a legacy project, she also created a very good learning environment for the children. Even a bed for them to sleep in each class, cupboard for them to put their shelves, and all my stuff, and hoping to do more stuff. You know, also this has given her a sense of purpose, and she has a plaque with a picture outside. Gives her a little bit of pride and happiness that, oh, I can do something for my community. Teach your children those things. You know, that where they come from is not a cause or a cancer. It can bring purpose to life. It can even be the reason to drive them towards the things that they are doing today. The choice is yours. Next point is that another danger is a broken generational chain. Every generation is a bridge between the past and the future. If your children don't identify with their roots, or they will not have the identity to continue. So the greatest inheritance is not wealth, but a clear understanding of who we are and where we come from. So these are the things, Francesca. I hope I've been able to answer your question. The same thing, Otto. I hope I've been able to answer your questions. So that's that. Afafa says, what is your key message for the audience from today's session? Yes, I pointed out to you, my key message today is our roots is our identity. We need to celebrate our roots because it gives us our identity. And our identity makes a lot of difference in what we do, how we do it. All right? Let me see if there's any further questions on the bottom. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much for the questions. Keep them coming. And the likes, thank you very much. I will have over 14,000 likes on TikTok. Thank you very much. And keep them coming in other places. All right. That was Afafa's question. Let us take Jeffrey's question as we bring this to a close, guys. Sorry, we're behind time. Which experience in your life has made you realize the importance of your roots and heritage the most? Very valid question. Which experience has made me realize the importance of my roots, my heritage? My roots and heritage the most. Which experience in my life? Yeah. On the top of my head, I did my master's degree in University of Glamorgan in Wales, to be precise, in a town called Pontypridd. It's very close to Cardiff. When I came to that university, I already had an understanding of, from Ishibodepo, he always says that dress like the future that you picture. I don't forget that. So because of that, I bore that in my mind, and I dress the way I dress now when I was going to lecture. When I go to lecture, my classmates are saying to me, oh, are you going, like Nigerians said to me, fellow Nigerians, oh, are you going for a party? I just ignore them because they're just trying to mock me. Or why can't you wear a shirt and trousers or all that kind of stuff? I can do that, but I chose to be intentional. And I do that and I put on a hat, the way I put on a hat like this. So it made a whole lot of difference. And because I'm also intentional about my values and my culture, my roots, even when it comes to solution providing or talking about where you come from and trying to solve a problem, I always made reference to where I came from and the solutions to where I came from. For instance, when we're talking about business analysis, coming up with a business idea, I remember talking to my lecturer said to me, we should come up with a business idea. My own business idea was creating a public toilet in a Ogbete market in Enugu State. And when I came to do that presentation, people laughed at me and said to me, oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Francesca. People laughed at me and said to me, oh, public toilet. Oh, no, man, there's toilets everywhere. Then my lecturer said to them, I don't forget that thing. So wherever there's problem, that's where the money is. If you are in Enugu State, or Ogbete to be precise, in the market, or in any market in Nigeria, I don't know, maybe some markets are different. The public toilets are not convenient sometimes. They're not convenient. And I don't know how many people that want to use such kind of toilets. I don't know. So me, that was my idea. That was the thought that came to my mind. How can I make this place a convenient place for people so that when you are in the market, you are not under pressure to want to leave the market to go use convenience and come back again to the market. But instead, if you're in the market and the nature calls, you quickly go into the toilet, use it and come out. But when people laughed at me, but my lecturer told them to stop laughing at me that we exist to solve problems. So yes, Jeffrey, my roots and my heritage, that in my classroom or in my course, during my course, it made me understand the importance of it. And not just to that, because I celebrate where I come from, my lecturer, my university, my department made me the poster boy for the university website. So they took me, all of a sudden my lecturer just called me, Onyekwelu, they're taking a photo shoot. I said, for what? He said to me, because we want to put it on the website. They didn't just put it on the website, they also put it when you come into my halls, into the block of my secondary, my university then, it was a big picture of me in the hall. Well, dressed up in my hat, Nigerian outfit, everything. So that made me very proud, and that made me appreciate where I come from. That further encouraged me to keep doing what I'm doing today. So I hope that responds to your question, Jeffrey. Very amazing question, and I appreciate it so much. Okay, we had Bobby. I don't know why Bobby went off. Bobby, if you're there, can you please come back again? Let us take a question. Sorry. All right. Okay. Let's crack on as we round this off. If no one else wants to say anything, can you please raise me? Please, can you please raise me? What's raise me? Raise me, Bobby. I added you. No, what you do? Say anything. Sorry, dear. Raise me. What do I raise you? I'll bring you up until you say. No. Okay, I don't know. He went off for some reason. Sorry. Okay. Let's take the next question as we bring this to a close. Thank you very much for those that waited behind. It's understandable if you guys had to leave. Yes. Thelma says, does one's own identity ever stand as a barrier to achieving success abroad or in international areas, or is it actually one's greatest strength? Thelma, response to my question is to tell you. Response to your question. There's a movement called Black Lives Matter. That's the response to your, that's the response to your question. If that person's identity does not stand as a barrier to what they are doing today, that movement will not exist. So you want to look up that movement. So there's so many things I can tell you. Some people, I remember a lady, this is a story I don't like to share, but I just have to share it. She was British, her parents were British, they were missionaries. She was born in Nigeria. Because she was in Nigeria, she tried to adopt the Nigerian ways of things and has a Nigerian name. So she put her Nigerian name in her CV while she was trying to look for a job in England. And this was the father telling me the story. So she looked for a job, nowhere, looked for a job, nowhere. She didn't get a job. So the father said to her, can't you take off your Nigerian name and let's give it a try? She said, no, how am I going to do that? That's my name. I was born in Nigeria, XYZ, YZZ. So after like several trials, she decided to listen to her dad and take off the name. She got a job. I'm not talking about now, this one, a bit like maybe This man told me this story when I was in university. That's talking about like maybe 16 years ago, 2010 or so. So things have changed now. Maybe it is not the case, but yes, some people's identity can stand in the way of their success and achievements. I've even seen some people do TikTok videos sounding like British people, only for them to arrive on the day and the reactions are different. So I hope that responds to your question. Okay. Next question. Thank you very much, Misty, for your thoughts, for your emojis. Thank you very much, Alia. Thank you very much, Rebecca. Thank you very much. Yeah, Julia says Nigeria is a Nigeria is a nation of rich culture, incredible strength, and deep heritage. Much love and respect for Nigeria and its vibrant roots. Thank you very much, dear. I appreciate that. And she went on to say Nigerian diaspora members around the world are making incredible global impact today. In your view, how can Nigerians abroad excel in their careers while staying deeply connected to their heritage and projecting a positive image of Nigeria to the world? How can they do that? It's simple. For me, it's having an understanding that you come from somewhere and you have a responsibility to be a blessing to that place where you come from. Otherwise, God would have made you British, Jamaican, Canadian, German, or anything. He made you Nigerian for a reason. So no matter where you are, there's a song that Master KG sang. It says, no matter where you go, remember the road that will lead you home. It's an amazing song, to remind us. So irrespective of whatever Nigerians are doing abroad or whatever, you have a responsibility to your community where you come from. I always say this and I don't forget it, and I'll answer a question with this. I say every country or anywhere you see that something is working, some people have contributed their blood, their sweat, or their tears. So it's be it England, be it Germany, be it America, be it anywhere, China, somebody stake their neck to say this must work. Somebody was determined to say that this has to happen. And therefore you are enjoying it. Therefore you can migrate to that country. Therefore you can call it a safe country. Therefore you can call it a place where you can have steady jobs or whatever. If people were not intentionally fixing their country or doing anything, will you have a place to go to? That's a question. That's a question I can leave to people to answer. So go back and fix your country is what I advocate in my book. Go back and fix your country. Until we go back and fix our country, we will keep remaining second-class citizens anywhere we find ourselves in the world. I don't know how many of you that like it. I don't like it once. So I'm intentional about the things I do, intentional about my investments, intentional about the things I do. The advice is to think it through. Next point, as we bring this to a close, is question, sorry. Peter says, how can a person become mentally strong by discovering and celebrating their roots, their true identity? I'm feeling mentally distressed about the future. Please give me some advice. Wow. Peter, please don't be distressed. No. So how can a person become mentally strong and by discovering and celebrating their true identity? I touched on it, Peter. You need to be proud of who you are. You need to be proud of the way you dress, be proud of your food, be proud of your name, proud of your stories, share them, be proud of what you do. If you went for a meeting with your family and you're at work and they ask you what do you do over the weekend, tell them what you did, be proud of it. Those things create people begin to celebrate you for who you are. I touched on it on the live stream. You can go all over it, Peter, again. But please don't allow anything, don't feel mentally distressed. No, please. About the future. No. Please. Just start celebrating yourself. That's all. Be proud of you. Dress up. I like it when sometimes you see some Bangladesh people or Indian people, the way they dress, their outfit and what have you. It's really nice and amazing. You celebrate yourself. Dress up nice. People are going to give you compliments because they're not used to seeing that. All right. So yeah, I hope that helps, Misty. Thank you, Misty, for your thoughts. Member says, is it possible to raise kids in a foreign environment while they put on the lifestyle or attitude necessary homes? If yes, how? Yes, it's very, very possible. Very, 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 very possible. Very, 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 very possible. One of the challenges why we're having this conversation is that a lot of parents don't they want to disassociate their children from where they come from. They don't. First is that the name they give to them, even if they give them Nigerian names, they try to shorten it, or some of them even give them English names. The children have options. When people laugh at them for their names, they cling to their English name. Or if at all they laugh at them for their names, they try to shorten the names. So these are all things that they keep confronting the child. My children don't have shortened names. My children don't have English names. So they keep to the names that they are, and they are proud of where they come from. So I ensure that my children speak the language. Language is key. It's very important and valuable. My children speak the language, very important. And I remind them that we are on this place. We're just visitors. Yes, you might have a passport of a country. I reminded them. That's why I took out time to talk about citizenship, different from your country of origin. There are two different things. Your lineage. I took out time to discuss that. Because that confusion is what is affecting a lot of families today. Right? That's it. So it's very possible. The food they eat is very possible. A lot of children eat Nigerian food and do all those things, yes, but still the parents, if you ask my child, he can never tell you he's British. No, he'll tell you the village where we come from in Enugu State, where it comes from. But he has a passport. That is a legal status. There are two different things. They shouldn't clash with each other. So it all depends on what his parents teach, or it all depends on what the values that person holds, on what you want to celebrate. Choices. So it's all about choice. Remember, when a teenager, when I was teaching them on Friday, she said to me that someone once said to her that we grew up looking like our parents, we'll end up looking like our choices. And don't forget that thing. It's all about choices. So what kind of choice do you want for yourself and your family and your children? Right? So yes, it's possible. Remember, is that your question? Yes, it's possible. So the next question, it says we should always so this is Emmanuel Yusuf. Says we should always see probably. Yes, please. Send me a DM, you can see. And you say we should also see problems as opportunities to make a difference. Yes, that's it. That's it. This challenge, this thing, one part of what I talked about is that if you tell your children, just like the way my daughter was able to find out of all the problems that this school has, needs a classroom. Now she's able to have provided it for them, made a lot of difference. We're inspired by John Maxwell's book and all that. So my advice is that celebrate where you come from, is your identity, celebrate your roots. It makes a whole lot of difference. I don't know if you've learned anything, but I believe that you guys have learned a lot, and our time very much spent. Thank you very much, Francesca, and to everyone that has joined, and all of you. Thank you for your questions. They're very much appreciated. This is me saying a big thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Let us keep this going. Let's keep this going. Let's keep this going as we bring this to a close. Please remember to join us. Okay, let me see. Let me see what the next question. Thank you very much. Yes. Remember that this live stream is sponsored by The Hair You Love. Francesca says, very important, we are visitors in a foreign land. Let's have the cost to always remember that. Yes. In my book, I have a chapter called that we have overstayed our welcome. You understand? Overstayed our welcome. Otherwise, ICE in America will not be trying to push people away and all that. We are becoming, look at what's happened in Spain. I think they say over 60,000, I don't know how true. That's a humanitarian crisis. People from Morocco coming into Spain. Overstayed are welcome. I like what the Bible teaches about him in Hebrews. It says, Abraham, for you're looking forward to a city that was not made by human hands. He never made for himself a tent. You're looking for a city that was built by God. I always give my children the mentality that we're foreigners, the mentality that we're visitors. Even if you have a British passport, you came from somewhere. You came from somewhere. So bear that in mind. It doesn't stop you from enjoying the rights and responsibilities of where you are, but you came from somewhere for a reason. Go back and be a blessing. Some of you come from very poor communities, like my community. What does it take? It says United Nations call poverty $1 a day. You can create a business or something that can be creating employment for your people. You give life and hope. Give purpose and sense of living. I don't know why people live. Me, I live to be a blessing. I want my life to be greater than. I want to live a great life. I want a life that in many years from now, generations unborn will be grateful that I ever existed. Today we talk about Henry Ford. Today we talk about Cornelius Van der Witt. Talk about John Kennedy. Talk about great men, Martin Luther King, John D. Rockefeller. Talk about Mary Slessor. Talk about Mother Teresa. Talk about Dora Quinley. Talk about Nelson Mandela. All these people, I always say and I keep saying on this live stream. Anybody that you have ever heard of that ever mattered in life, they're living their lives for other people. Ever. Nobody ever amounts to something. You're thinking about me, myself, and I. It never works. Thank you very much, Francesca, for those points. Thank you. So, guys, remember that I have a free ebook and paid ebook. If you want to join our live stream, let us know. My new book will be coming out. This live stream is sponsored by The Hair You Love, D610 Homes Love Public Podcast. Check them out. The Hair You Love sell human wigs, different items, boys' clothes, girls' clothes. For ladies, check them out. Just type The Hair You Love on TikTok or Instagram. You can find them. This is 10 Homes. We do property investments, property service accommodations. You're looking to invest monies. Please send us a DM. We're also looking for properties in Enugu, to be precise, so that we can do a joint venture with you. If you know anyone that has a big size of land, that has a we can reinvent that land to do something great. Thank you very much. Yeah. So guys, let us make this awesome. So also Love Family Podcast, check us out. We have different podcasts. You want to check them out to be a blessing to you. I should bring this to an end. Next week we have the similar topic, our heritage, something else, or that responsibility or what. I remember what this is called. You'll see it on the ads. All right. A big thank you to everyone, to my PA, thank you very much, Venus, to my social media manager, Dami, thank you very much, to my family, my wife and children. I love you guys. Thank you very much. To my mentors, to my colleagues, very much appreciated. Francesca says, thank you for today's lesson. Let the wise hear. Yes, sure. Please share this live stream so more people can. If you go on YouTube, type Onyekwelu ILOGE on YouTube. You can click on live. You find this today's video. It's called Our Roots, Our Heritage. Please share them on social media so more people can learn and be a part of it. The choice is yours. Or if you wait a little while, you might see short clips about this, and you can also share them to people especially on YouTube, so that's where we put our videos so more people can be a part of it. So thank you very much. To all my mentors, my friends all over, please let us know what your biggest takeaways are. Let them know where they are. And God bless you, each and every one of you. So I should bring this to a close. This is me saying to you, identity is your invisible compass. When you know who you are, you make decisions with greater confidence and purpose. This is me recapping what we talked about. Next thing is that a passport gives you access. Your roots give you anchoring. You may gain citizenship anywhere, but your roots provide a history and heritage that shapes your identity. The words are not for the wise. Next thing is that global success should never require personal amnesia. You can embrace the opportunities of the world without forgetting the people and story that shaped you. The choice is yours. Last thing as we bring to a close is that your greatest contribution begins with knowing where you stand. People who understand their roots are often better equipped to build bridges, solve problems, and serve beyond themselves. So I think I said a lot, and I hope that you've learned a thing or two today. So the essence of why I do this every day, 7 p.m. UK time, is to set up a dissatisfaction within your spirit man, to awaken the possibilities and to be the best version of yourself. So, and I hope that for the last 1 hour or so that I've been doing this, you have been a blessing. I've learned a thing or two. Remember that the Bible tells us that I've seen servants of horses, while princes walk on the ground like servants. Ensure that you're at the rightful place at the right time. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 7. And you can never, ever go wrong if you do this. So remember that the wise always invest. Invest in whatever will make you stay rooted to where you come from and keep your identity always in check, always checked up, okay? This means saying to you, we'll do peace and I'm out. See you next Sunday, 7 p.m. UK time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.